Good morning, everybody. It is May 25th. It is not only a day of remembrance, a bittersweet, somber day, I guess you'd say. The day we remember not only what this country has given, but the people who have given their lives for it. It's not only Memorial Day in the sense of remembering our nation's fallen. Wow. I didn't think this video was going to be this way. We all know that Memorial Day falls on the last Monday of the month of May. This particular Memorial Day not only falls on the last Monday, but it also falls on it also falls on my father's birthday. I was not going to do this in front of the video, but it happens. My father did not pass away during Vietnam. He passed away after he retired. So he survived that Holocaust. I know it's nothing like World War II, but it was one of the longest, most bitter wars we've ever faced. A lot of Americans during that time felt that we should not have been there. Some Americans still feel that way. Uh, uh, the whole aspect of the Vietnam War is not only filled with controversy, but it's also by a lot of people filled with, maybe it's not the proper word, but the only word that comes to my mind is disdain. Because, like I said, a lot of American people didn't think we should have been there in the first place. I can go both ways. The Vietnam era, or war, I should say, um, could have been avoided. It was a combination of the see if I get my facts straight. The French had established a embassy there and was trying to negotiate and help the Vietnamese people. They got themselves a little bit of a problem because they at the time were influenced heavily by China and got themselves in trouble and asked for help. And of course, who's the first nation to jump to help? The Americans. Now we thought originally when we were going over there, it was just a, what do they call it, a police state, or basically they were there. We were there to basically keep the French safe. We didn't think it was going to go into an all-out war, which it did. And truth be told, I mean, I understand the whole. I kind of understand the whole. The French are our allies. We need to go help them. But when the French basically pulled out and we took over, uh, that's when things kind of went south. I personally think if we would have just gone in there, helped the French get out, and let the Korean people be take care of their own problems, who knows how it could have turned out? Maybe it would have been less bloody. Maybe it would have been less violent. But we'll never know. During that era, my father was, excuse me, during that era, my father wasn't stationed anywhere near Vietnam. I shouldn't say that. He wasn't in Vietnam. He was at the time he was a helicopter mechanic stationed in Thailand, and every so often they would come to the flight line and basically pick out a group of guys to basically jump on a helicopter, go into a safe zone to basically pick up the dead bodies, and sometimes the severely wounded that were in a safe zone, a controlled zone that basically was a field hospital of sorts. I think I don't remember the full story. I just remember bits and pieces that he was a mechanic that flew over into Vietnam to pick up the dead, basically. So he never had to. He never had. They had. There was worries. There was worries of being shot down and whatnot. But I'm guessing that the flight path and whatnot they took was U.S. controlled territory. But he survived that in the sense that he never came home dead. He there were certain minor traumas that everybody suffered during that period. There was no escaping some form of trauma. Uh, but after, excuse me, my eye is very itchy today. My allergies have been bothersome at best. But anyhow, there are those out there who not only have lost family members due to Vietnam, but those who did not lose the family members lost the family members in the sense that not everybody came back the same. There are numerous cases of soldiers suffering from, I don't even know the lettering, but it's post traumatic syndrome, PS, PSD. I don't remember what it's called, but my my uncle Dave, who we're going to go visit in about a week. Yeah, end of this week. No, we're gonna go visit him the next week or so. Um, it's his son's daughter, basically his granddaughter that's just graduated. That we're gonna go see. Um, he was there. He was a grunt in the sense of basically he was a soldier, a ground pounder, however you want to put it. But we don't know what he suffered over there. He came back intact physically. There are just things that he doesn't talk about during that time, which is how some people deal with it. They just like forget about it. It's like, you know, compartmentalize it in the back of their brain and hope it never becomes an issue, which I don't know if it has, but I can tell you this much by his family and whatnot that it never came to light. It never became an issue that he couldn't deal with and deal with his two children and wife and all the different things that he dealt with. Uh, there are some people who walked away from that situation mean as all get out, and others who came away from that situation with a different perspective on life. Uh, there are people who just walked away from that and just couldn't deal with society in general and ended up having to be hospitalized or drugged, whatever. And I I feel for every single one of them. But trying to get back on more of a upbeat, positive, or upbeat situation, friend of mine. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be doing this. The pandemic that we are suffering uh, has caused a lot of parades and Memorial Day events and whatnot to be canceled, which is a sad thing. But it's the way the world is now. I mean, how do you shut down a whole planet? Make everybody sick or paranoid. You know. But thankfully, there are not only just countries, but states here in the U.S. that are starting to go into a healthier norm, I guess you'd say. Uh, Granted, I would rather be following what the CDC says and wear the mask at work while in general public just to prevent the possibility of being sick or spreading a virus that I may or may not have. I don't know. Uh, for the most part, we're doing good. Granted, there are other countries that have been smarter than we have that are now basically opening just about everything except for um, travel is still limited. Holiday events and public mass gatherings is still limited, but for the most part, they're doing better than we are. Most likely because of the fact that they were smart by closing their borders and making sure everybody was getting healthier before reopening the borders. I know here in the States, because we're so like, half of us don't pay attention to the government, the other half of us think the government is a bunch of idiots. There are a few people who are paranoid to the point that they self isolated themselves, which not really paranoid but smart. But they're still paranoid in the fact that they're not trusting the idea of going out of their homes, even though they can. I know I heard from one of my viewers who lives in the UK that they weren't allowed. Was it the UK or was it somebody who was in South Africa? I don't remember. I think it was UK, but they were allowed out of their homes, but they weren't allowed off their property. In other words, they can leave their house, they can walk around their property, but they couldn't get off their property without the chance of being arrested, or I don't know about arrested, but basically yelled at by the authorities. Um, my newsletter I get from Norway, basically they're opening up. They're still canceling celebrations and whatnot, the various festivals that they have this time of year, due to the fact that they're still doing the whole social distancing and, safety precautions of one form or another. Here in Missouri, we went to Colton's for Mother's Day, and at Colton's, what they did, and I think I said this, what they did was they had like every other booth basically closed off just to keep the social distancing, and they were only allowed 63 or something like that, 63, 64 patrons at a time, just to keep, the crowds down. We went to Denny's Friday morning for breakfast. Friday for breakfast, and they did the same thing. Every other booth was basically blocked off. Joanne and I ran out yesterday to get some groceries and whatnot, just some minor stuff. And Applebee's, there was a crowd of people standing outside of Applebee's waiting to go inside. So I'm assuming every restaurant that has seating and whatnot is allowing every other booth to be open. The fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, those places, they weren't letting people in just yet. I guess because the issue was how could they keep social distancing when fast food places are always crowded. Here in Rolla, our St. Patrick's Day parade was canceled. Our Memorial Day, I can't talk because of my nose. Memorial Day, when Memorial Day was, the parade was canceled. So we're still slowly recuperating from the pandemic. Uh, there was a quick news clip I got from, I don't know if it was something I saw on Facebook, which I take with a grain of salt, or something I saw on the CDC website, where Brazil or someplace in South America, I can't remember what country it was, could have a second wave, or could be causing a second wave of the pandemic, which is kind of like, well, the CDC did put out a warning that there was a 70% chance of a second or a third wave of either COVID or some other pandemic. And I just kind of went, great. Maybe I wasn't too far wrong when I was saying that 2020 might be a dark era, dark year, bad year, whatever. But I'm not too worried about it, because when it's my time, it's my time. Whether it's because of a pandemic or just old age or something to do with my genetic coding, I don't know. But I'm not saying that I'm afraid of dying or not afraid of dying. I just, if I die, I'd prefer to die in my sleep nice and quietly instead of like in agony. But we all want that, don't we? Um, Also, Monday. Mondays are always a flip the coin day for work, because Monday is our truck day. Now, I don't know if we're getting delivery today or not because of Memorial Day. Uh, I was told that I was supposed to be getting a couple packages today, but it's Memorial Day, so don't know if UPS or the mail service or anybody like that will be working, delivering, whatever. But this Monday is going to be interesting because it's going to be, not only is it Memorial Day and I don't know how busy we're going to be at work, but it's also, the managers. Now, this is my store, not every store, but my manager, our head manager, is just, she took the day off. Number of different reasons. Most of them I don't know. But one I can understand. She doesn't get the holiday time and a half pay because she's salary based. Um, that's her choice. The company can't say yay or nay because of her reasonings. Um, well, maybe they could. I don't know. But the people who are supposed to be in charge when I get in today, they just have a lot more to learn, to develop, I guess you'd say, to function without the supervisor. So I have a feeling my day is going to be pretty busy, which, no big deal. I do what I can, punch the clock, do the best I can, deal with the customers. Those are my primary priority because without the customers, we have no money. Without the money, I have no job. Then I'll worry about my finishing up the truck order to the best of my ability and cleaning. I'm just hoping I get as much of it done as possible because I don't want to come in tomorrow and have a list of things that were missed, which, hey, we all know Mondays are not exactly easy, so. But I can't wait until. Nope, hair. I can't wait until next week because this Friday is the end of the 2 week schedule that was put out. So that means this coming weekend, I will be back to my regular schedule. Which, how's it going to work? Because if I have Friday, Saturday off, she's going to put me on Sunday and then have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, and then go back to my Thursday, Friday, Saturday? It's not important. I can figure it out later. Or I'll just let her figure it out. I'll just work the hours that I get because. Oh, yeah. Anyhow, I'll I'll just do what I have to do to do my job. That's all I can ask of myself. That's all anybody can ask of themselves, even though there are others out there who would prefer them to work double. I don't know. But it's a job, and I do what I have to do. Anyhow, uh, it's been crazy. It's been a bit crazy. Anyhow, I ran out of words. My brain just stopped. Anywho, I know this is more of a vlog than anything else. Oh, yeah. I know this is a vlog more than anything else because I'm trying to do a mixture of stuff just to keep things interesting. I got a lot of great. I'm sorry. I've gotten a lot of great comments and whatnot about my cooking and whatnot. my latest my latest adventure in cooking, yeah, I goofed up. A couple people politely and nicely pointed out that I cooked the schnitzel a little too hard, a little too high. Um, I had oil in the bottom of the pan, but the oil kind of got cooked off quicker than normal because I did not turn down the heat in my pan after the meat started to sizzle. Uh, One person pointed out how a family member of hers used to take I can't remember if she said pork fritter or what it was, but it was some sort of pork that they basically made from scratch. They took this pork chop or whatever it was, pounded it down so it was nice and flat, then dipped it in egg, flour, and breadcrumbs, which that technically is the method of doing it if you have the time. Unfortunately, I don't always have the time, so the pre-cooked schnitzel the package of schnitzels that I showed you that came from Aldi's is sometimes it's 10 times easier. I understand it's the poor man's way of doing it or the busy person's way of doing it. Most of the foods that I do will either be fresh, basically out of the package type, quick and easy. That I basically just dress up, make it a little bit snazzier. Um, there is one particular dish that I'm thinking about trying to do. That I don't know when I'm going to try to do it, but it's basically my Aunt Helen's, what we call Aunt Helen's Parmesan chicken. Yes, I had my cup of tea and now I'm switching to something else. And Aunt Helen's Parmesan chicken is just basically chicken cutlets or tenders, however you want to make it, or whatever kind of chicken you want to use, but it's breast meat that is basically gone through a egg batter and then it goes into the coating, which is basically the coating is Parmesan cheese, uh, breadcrumbs, and uh, garlic salt, and then that's fried up or baked, however you want to put it. A lot of times we bake it because it comes out crispier. So, you know, I appreciate the comments and whatnot, and I understand that everybody has a different way of doing certain things, which is fine and dandy. I'm just trying to show you some of the things that I do that are quick and easy. Unfortunately, like I said, I did not turn the heat down on the pan, so one side got a little crispier. Not really burnt, just slightly charred. Um, and for some of us who have gum issues, like myself, my mom, Jerry has gum issues too. We all do. Not that we have bad teeth. Mom has full dentures. I have partial. Jerry Anna's only got a couple teeth missing. I kind of envy her. In fact, yesterday, the crown that was bugging me finally came out. It had to come out while chewing a piece of gum. Luckily, I felt it come out, otherwise, I could have stabbed myself and really done some damage. But the adventure in cooking is slow going right now, mostly because of a combination of timing, because of my job, and just ingredients. You know, oh, it's Friday. What can Jim cook? Oh, we're out of that. We're out of that. Ooh, you know, that those kind of things. Uh, my biggest concern right now is the fact of that I don't have the products to do what I can do. It's more of when can I get the items that I'm missing, and when can I do the actual cooking. So, but I'm trying. But in the meantime, to fill the gaps, it's going to be these logs. Somebody, nope, I'm not going to say it because I didn't put that video out. I got to put that video out. Somebody did say though when I had told them I'm getting back into the drafting that I used to love doing. Somebody said something about showing some of the drafting I've done. Somebody asked me about showing the floor plans that I have from my school when I went to drafting school. I only went for a year, so I don't have a diploma or anything like that. And the only reason why I didn't finish up the second year, because it was just a simple 2 year course, was just simply financing. Financing I did not have back then because that was before I got married and I wasn't smart with my money. So, yeah. But I am going to try to find those blueprints because I know they're up in my closet somewhere. Just have to get past the other stuff that's in there. So we'll see about that here in the next week or so. Anyhow, um, yep. All right. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment box, and I will try to address them. I've been trying to basically address everybody's comments. Some of them I just give it a thumbs up or whatnot. Some of it I actually write something in. Uh, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and tap that bell. YouTube will let you know when I put in a new video. So until next time, God bless. Be safe. Have a good day. Bye.